When you go to bed and turn off the lights, your home doesn't fall silent. It wakes up. Your cat's eyes glow in the dark like tiny moons. Your dog lifts its head at the faintest sound. A rabbit twitches its nose. A ferret rustles the blankets. And somewhere, a hamster begins its nightly marathon. While we dream, our pets live a secret second life, guided by instincts older than our species. From hunting and guarding to zoomies and weird sleeping poses, every strange thing they do after dark has a wild reason behind it. Welcome to Just Paw Facts. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on the secret night lives of pets. We'll explore how their senses come alive, why their bodies follow ancient rhythms, and what science says about nocturnal behavior. Question for you. What's the strangest thing your pet does after midnight? Tell us in the comments. Your answer might show up in our next video. All right, grab your flashlight. Let's see what really happens when the lights go out. Chapter 1. The World After Lights Out. Our story begins the moment you hit the light switch. Your brain starts releasing a sleepy chemical called melatonin, telling you it's time for bed. But your pet's body might not agree. Dogs, cats, rabbits, ferrets, and hamsters all run on their own internal clocks called circadian rhythms. These rhythms tell them when to eat, sleep, play, and hunt. For humans, that rhythm mostly follows the sun. But for many pets, it's guided by something older and wilder. Cats and ferrets are crepuscular, which means they're most active during dawn and dusk. Their wild ancestors hunted when the light was soft and the prey was distracted. So when your cat starts racing down the hallway at 5 a.m., it's not bad manners, it's an ancient instinct. Dogs are more flexible. Some sleep through the night, especially if they're humans do, but others wake up at every sound. That comes from wolves, who took turns keeping watch to protect the pack. Even your sleepy golden retriever still has a bit of night guard left in his DNA. Rabbits are also crepuscular. They like the in-between hours because that's when predators are less likely to spot them. In the wild, they dig burrows and only come out when it's dark. Your pet bunny might look harmless, but inside that soft fur is a master of survival timing. And then we have hamsters. These tiny fluff balls are nocturnal. That means the night is their day. While you dream, they're running marathons on their wheels, storing food and reorganizing their cages like tiny interior designers. All of this comes from evolution. Long ago, animals that stayed active during different times avoided danger and competition. Some hunted under the moon, others in the sun. Those patterns are written into their biology. Even thousands of generations later, the rhythm continues inside your pet's body. So when you think your pet is acting weird at night, remember, they're just following a schedule older than civilization. Still, how do they see so well in the dark? How do they avoid bumping into walls when we can barely find the bathroom light switch? Let's find out. Excellent. Here comes the next part. Continuing seamlessly from the intro and chapter 1, keeping the same warm, funny, science through storytelling tone. Chapter 2, Eyes in the Dark. If you've ever woken up in the middle of the night and seen two glowing dots staring from the corner of the room, congratulations. You've just met your cat's built-in night vision. Cats have something special behind their retinas called the tapetum lucidum, a shiny, mirror-like layer that bounces light back through their eyes. It's like having headlights that recycle light twice. Even the tiniest glimmer from a nightlight can help a cat see shapes and movement. That glow you notice isn't spooky magic. It's science showing off. Dogs have it too, though not as powerfully. Their night vision is good enough to track motion in dim light. They can't read your phone screen, but they could definitely spot a raccoon sneaking by the trash cans at midnight. Then there are rabbits. Their eyes sit on the sides of their heads, giving them a nearly 360-degree view. That means they can watch the ceiling, the floor, and the snacks all at once. At night, they rely more on shape and motion than sharp detail. If you think your rabbit is staring at nothing, it might actually be watching everything. Ferrets are another story. They see best in low light and have a talent for detecting movement. When the lights dim, their pupils grow huge like black marbles, turning the world into a motion-sensing playground. That's why a ferret can find the sock you dropped behind the couch faster than you can. Hamsters, on the other hand, don't depend much on sight at all. Their vision is fuzzy, so they map the world with smell and touch. They use their whiskers like radar antennas, brushing them against walls and objects to build a mental map. A hamster's nose can detect food from several feet away, impressive for a creature that fits in your palm. Speaking of whiskers, they're one of the most underrated tools in the animal kingdom. Cats and dogs have them deeply rooted in the skin, with nerve endings that sense even the slightest air movement. They act like a built-in GPS. When a cat squeezes through a doorway or a ferret darts under furniture, their whiskers tell them exactly how much space they have. And let's not forget hearing. Your dog can pick up sounds far above the range of human ears. A refrigerator hum, a car 2 blocks away, or the footsteps of a sneaky cat across the hall, all perfectly clear. Cats can hear even higher frequencies, which is how they detect mice or toy bells from another room. Put together, these senses make the night feel like daytime for them. While we fumble for a glass of water, our pets are moving through a world lit by echoes, scents, and tiny vibrations. So when you hear a sudden thump or the sound of something racing across the floor, it's not a ghost. It's your pet using super senses to explore their personal midnight playground. But why all the exploring? What are they actually doing in those late night hours when you're trying to sleep? The answer lies deep in their instincts. Instincts that whisper, hunt. Chapter 3. The hunters within the clock strikes midnight. The house is dark, silent, and peaceful. Then suddenly, chaos. A thud from the hallway, a jingling collar. Something crashes to the floor. You sit up wide-eyed, wondering if your home has been invaded. It has, by your own pets. Cats dart through rooms like tiny panthers, chasing invisible prey. Dogs lift their heads, ears twitching, ready to defend their territory. Even hamsters and ferrets start their nightly adventures, digging, chewing, and exploring like miniature explorers on a mission. Why do they come alive at night? The answer hides in their ancestors. Long before cats became couch companions, their wild relatives hunted in twilight hours. Early wildcats prowled the edges of grasslands and villages, waiting for rodents to appear. The soft evening light made it easier to sneak up on prey. Over thousands of years, even as cats joined humans, that hunting clock stayed the same. So when your cat pounces on a sock or attacks your ankles at 3 a.m., it isn't being mischievous. Its brain is running ancient hunting code. Those wild ancestors learned that dusk and dawn were perfect for ambushes, and your living room is just a very comfortable savanna. Dogs share a similar story. Their wolf ancestors were pack hunters who relied on teamwork and timing. Some wolves would nap while others guarded or scouted for prey. That watchful instinct never left. A dog pacing the hallway or sniffing the air at night isn't restless. It's standing guard, following its role in the pack. Ferrets belong to the mustelid family, which includes weasels and polecats, animals built for stealth. Wild ferrets hunted in burrows and narrow tunnels, slipping into spaces most predators couldn't reach. That same urge lives on in your pet. When a ferret dives into a pile of blankets or vanishes into your couch cushions, it's reenacting a hunt deep in its DNA. Rabbits may not hunt, but they're experts at avoiding becoming someone else's dinner. In the wild, they emerge from burrows under the safety of dim light to feed and explore. Every twitch, hop, and freeze response is a survival move. Even in your living room, those instincts remain. If your rabbit suddenly sprints across the floor and stops as if frozen, it's practicing the art of staying alive. And then there's the hamster, tiny yet fearless. Hamsters descend from wild species that roamed desert plains under moonlight. They'd gather food and stash it underground, always alert for owls and foxes. When your hamster fills its cheeks or rearranges its bedding at 2 a.m., it's performing an ancient ritual of preparation and safety. What we call nighttime mischief is really nature in action. Every leap, chase, and sniff tells a story older than humans themselves. But not all nighttime behavior is about hunting. Sometimes it's about something even more mysterious. It's about the wild bursts of energy that seem to appear from nowhere, the moment your pet decides that midnight is the perfect time for an indoor race. Let's find out why. Chapter 4. The Zoomies Hour. It starts quietly. Maybe your cat is grooming itself, half asleep, eyes drooping. Your dog is curled up like a cinnamon roll on the couch. Everything seems peaceful. Then suddenly, the madness begins. The cat bolts from the living room to the kitchen, leaps onto the counter, and darts back again as if being chased by invisible monsters. Your dog joins in, spinning in circles and running from one end of the house to the other, paws skidding on the floor. The rabbit kicks up its hind legs and hops in zigzags like it just remembered how fun life is. Welcome to the Zoomies Hour. It is a universal phenomenon that strikes pets without warning. Scientists have a real name for it: frenetic random activity periods, or FRAPs. But Zoomies is a lot more fun to say, and it perfectly describes the burst of pure, joyful chaos that takes over your furry friends. So what causes it? Think of it like a pressure valve. Throughout the day, pets store energy. They nap, wait for attention, or quietly watch the world go by. When the sun sets and the world grows calm, that built-up energy suddenly bursts out all at once. It's part biology, part emotion. In dogs, Zoomies are often linked to play and stress release. A dog might get them after a bath, a long nap, or when its favorite person finally comes home. It's their way of saying, "I'm alive and it feels amazing." Wolves in the wild also have playful moments like this. They chase, tumble, and practice hunting skills. It keeps their bodies fast and their minds sharp. Cats use Zoomies for similar reasons. They're crepuscular hunters, and in nature, this is when they chase prey. When your cat dashes through the house at night, it's practicing that ancient art of pursuit. Every sprint, jump, and slide is a mini workout for survival. It just happens to take place between your furniture. Ferrets are born masters of the Zoomies. Their version is called the Weasel War Dance, a hilarious mix of hops, head bobs, and sideways jumps. It looks like a dance battle with the air itself. Ferrets do it when they're happy or excited, often inviting you or another pet to join in. In the wild, it was a way to confuse prey. At home, it's a performance for fun. Rabbits get Zoomies too, but theirs are called binkies. A binky is when a rabbit jumps, twists midair, and lands with a joyful thump. It's pure happiness made visible. Rabbits usually do this when they feel safe and playful, especially in the evening. Even hamsters, tiny as they are, get their own kind of Zoomies. Watch one after sunset, and you'll see the same burst of energy, running full speed on the wheel, digging and rearranging bedding like a tiny interior designer in a hurry. For them, this nightly workout is how they stay fit and release tension. Zoomies are good for your pet's brain and body. They help with muscle tone, coordination, and emotional balance. They're nature's version of laughter and exercise rolled into one. So the next time your cat races through the house or your dog does laps around the coffee table, don't panic. They're not losing their minds. They're celebrating life, movement, and freedom. Still, some nighttime energy has a different purpose. Not all motion comes from joy. Sometimes it's about duty, about guarding the pack while the rest of the world sleeps. Let's meet the Night Watch. Chapter 5. Guardians of the Night. Every pack has a protector, and in your home, that role probably belongs to your dog. When the house grows quiet and everyone drifts to sleep, your dog's job is just beginning. Somewhere inside that soft, snoring creature is a night watchman waiting for duty. Dogs inherited this instinct from wolves, who took turns guarding their dens. While some slept, others stayed alert to protect the pack. That behavior didn't disappear when dogs moved into our homes. It simply adapted. You might not notice it, but your dog listens all night long. A door creaks, a distant car, a squirrel on the porch. Every sound gets scanned by those radar-shaped ears. Some dogs will let out a soft rumble just to remind the darkness they're on patrol. Others might quietly move from room to room, checking that everyone's safe. Even small dogs do it. A Chihuahua or Yorkie might not scare a burglar, but they'll sound the alarm before anyone else knows something's up. Big dogs like shepherds or retrievers tend to be calmer, but no less protective. They know the difference between normal nighttime noises and something worth waking the whole house over. And yes, sometimes they're too good at their job. The mail truck at midnight, suspicious. The wind brushing against a tree branch, definitely a threat. That's when you get the deep growl or sudden bark that jolts you out of bed. It's not misbehavior, it's devotion. Cats have their own version of this instinct, though it looks different. They aren't pack guards, but they do patrol their territory. A cat might sit in a window watching the shadows. It's not only about curiosity, it's about ownership. That patch of moonlight outside belongs to them, and they intend to keep it that way. Ferrets, too, can be surprisingly alert. They use scent more than sound to track what's changed since last night. If a new smell enters their space, they'll investigate immediately. In their wild past, that could have meant a rival, a predator, or dinner. Rabbits, being prey animals, have a unique kind of vigilance. They don't guard the home, but they stay ready. Their ears can rotate almost all the way around, and even while sleeping, part of their brain remains alert. If something feels wrong, they'll stomp a hind leg to warn others, even if others just means their human family. Hamsters rely more on instinctive caution. In the wild, they'd be easy targets for night hunters, so they've learned to react fast to unfamiliar sounds. When your hamster suddenly freezes mid-run, it's not tired. It's waiting to decide if danger is near. Together, all these little guardians form a kind of nighttime network. The cat monitors the windows, the dog guards the door, the rabbit listens for danger, the hamster stays hidden but alert, and all the while, you sleep under their watch. It's a quiet kind of teamwork, a partnership between species that has lasted for thousands of years. We protect them by day, and they protect us by night. But even protectors need rest. And if you've ever found your pet sleeping in a strange position, upside down, twisted into a pretzel, or with paws in the air, you might have wondered what on earth is going on. Let's find out what those weird sleeping positions really mean. Chapter 6. The Weird Sleep Club. If aliens ever visited Earth and saw how our pets sleep, they might think we're raising furry acrobats. 1 minute, your cat is curled neatly like a croissant. The next, it is sprawled upside down with paws sticking out like a starfish. Your dog snores in a shape that looks impossible for bones to allow. Rabbits collapse dramatically on their sides, motionless like fainting actors. And ferrets? They look like they've melted, but every sleeping position tells a story. Let's start with the dogs. When a dog curls up into a tight little ball, tail touching its nose, it's channeling its wolf ancestors. Wolves slept this way to conserve heat and protect their organs. It's a natural shield. When your dog does it, it's a sign of security mixed with instinct. The belly-up pose, where dogs sleep on their backs with paws in the air, means they feel completely safe. No animal in the wild would expose its stomach unless it trusted its surroundings. So if your dog naps like that in your living room, congratulations, you've built the world's safest den. Cats have an entire menu of sleep positions. When they curl up in a ball, they're keeping warm and ready to spring into action. When they loaf with their paws tucked under them, it means they're half asleep, half on guard. The "I'm resting, but don't sneak up on me" position. And when they sprawl on their sides, completely limp, that's cat language for "I own this house." Ferrets, on the other hand, redefine relaxation. They can sleep anywhere, in any shape, often with mouths open and tongues hanging out. Don't panic, it's called dead sleep, and it's perfectly normal. Ferrets sleep very deeply and can snooze up to 18 hours a day. When they finally crash after hours of play, they enter dreamland instantly. Rabbits are light sleepers. They might look peaceful, but their bodies stay alert. Sometimes they sleep sitting up, with eyes half open. Their heart rate slows, but their senses stay on. It's their built-in alarm system. But when a rabbit flops on its side and stretches out, that's a big deal. It means it feels safe enough to let its guard down. That dramatic plop is the rabbit version of a sigh of relief. And our smallest members, the hamsters, have their own bedtime rituals. In the wild, they'd sleep deep in burrows to stay hidden and warm. At home, they make nests out of shredded paper or soft bedding, shaping tiny fortresses before drifting off. Sometimes they lie flat, sometimes curled, sometimes buried under piles of fluff like tiny burritos. What all these poses show is trust. Animals only sleep deeply when they feel secure in their environment. When your pet snoozes beside you, it's a silent vote of confidence. You are their safety. Now, what happens inside their bodies during all that sleep? That's where science steps in again. Just like humans, pets follow circadian rhythms. the internal clocks that tell their bodies when to rest and when to wake. Melatonin helps signal bedtime, while other hormones prepare them for activity at dusk or dawn. No matter how domesticated they've become, their brains still dance to the rhythm of nature. Some pets are nocturnal, like hamsters, wired for moonlight and darkness. Others are crepuscular, like cats and rabbits, tuned to the twilight hours. Dogs have adapted the most, syncing their schedules with ours. That's why your pup can nap all day and still be ready for a late-night patrol. Together, these rhythms weave a pattern as old as the animal kingdom, a song of wake and sleep, light and dark, trust and instinct. So the next time you see your cat snoring in a sunbeam or your dog twisted like a yoga master, remember they're not just being cute. They're performing an ancient dance of survival and comfort. And as the night grows quiet again, the house slowly returns to stillness. One by one, the tiny explorers, hunters, and guards drift back into dreams. But the story isn't quite over yet, because as much as our pets have changed, their wild past still whispers inside them. Let's wrap it all together. Closing. The secret life that never sleeps. The night fades. The first bit of morning light slips across the floor. Somewhere a cat stretches and blinks as if nothing happened. A dog yawns and nudges your hand for breakfast. The hamster finally slows its wheel, cheeks full of snacks, ready to nap through the day. Your home seems quiet again, but you know better now. You've seen what happens when the world falls asleep. You've seen the truth about the secret night lives of pets. Behind every wag, purr, and twitch lies an ancient story. Long before they became our family members, they were survivors, hunters, guardians, dreamers of the dark. Their rhythms haven't forgotten the wild. They've only learned to share it with us. Every sense, every instinct, and every strange midnight behavior is part of a beautiful inheritance from nature. Their night vision, their patrols, their zoomies, even the way they sleep, all of it tells the same story. Pets aren't just cute companions. They are living echoes of the wild world that came before. So next time your cat knocks something over at 2 a.m. or your dog barks at a mysterious nothing, take a moment before you grumble. Somewhere in that noise is the heartbeat of evolution. And as for your rabbit's sudden sprint, your ferret's upside-down nap, or your hamster's wheels squeaking like a tiny treadmill, those are reminders that life doesn't pause when the lights go out. It just shifts into another rhythm, one older and truer than our own. Before we go, here's a question for you. What's the strangest thing your pet does after midnight? Tell us in the comments below. You might just find your story in our next episode. Remember to like this video, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you never miss the next deep dive into the wonderful, weird world of animals. Because here on Just Paw Facts, every creature has a secret. You just have to look closely enough, even in the dark.